Stephanie Miller Show. What?
What?
Oh, no.
What?
Chris is freshly shorn. Every time we come in, there's less of him. There's less hair. What's happened?
There's less of him for his fans to love.
Pardon me?
There's less of him for his fans to love.
I don't. What's happening? You're freshly shorn like a little lamb.
I cut my hair.
Like a little lamb.
I just cut my hair, that's all.
In 2 weeks, he's going to look like Mr.
What's
Clean.
happening, though? He looks like someone shook the Etch-a-Sketch again.
Yeah.
There was less beard, and now there's nothing on top. What's happening?
You need to be careful with what you say.
Yes.
He's fasting today. He's got a doctor's appointment, so he's
Oh.
fasting.
And so I'm going to be a bitch.
Someone's going to be hangry.
Frankenstein could come out.
I've had no coffee. I've had to drink water in my drink quit water bottle.
Bottle. Okay. All right. Bling. Wow. All right. Well, this will take some getting used to.
I know.
Why?
If you're just listening on the radio, you need to go to StephanieMiller.com and click on see what's what and who's who.
Remember yesterday you said that you needed to have new people around who didn't know stuff? So
Yes.
Chris came in looking like a new
Yes.
person to kind of trick you.
Right. I've been working with you guys entirely too long. You know entirely too many things about me. All right. As does Carlos Alzraki, who is given to talking about my dusty lady bits. That's how long he's known me.
The Baron
Since before
Plains.
they were dusty. Okay.
He knew your bits when they were squishy.
Don't say that ever,
Okay,
Chris.
Carlos Alzraki, who is in the new Bear Aspirin commercial, and everybody keeps tweeting. I keep expecting him to say something wildly inappropriate.
Yeah. He's Bayer Mike.
He's Mike. He's right. He's Mike in the Bear Aspirin commercial.
Yeah. I think you retweeted the link to the commercial.
Yes.
So go to twitter.com/SM show
You're
to
a
find the link.
retweeting monster, by the way. You just kind of retweet everything,
Yeah.
don't you?
It's Mama's refrigerator, and I just keep putting little pieces of listener art up there. I'm like, oh, that's good. That was funny.
You get a
Look
gold
what
star.
did.
You get a gold star.
And you get a gold star, and you get a gold star.
And you get Ebola. And you get Ebola.
No. Oh, boy.
What?
All right.
You only say that one time.
Rude pundit coming up. Representative John Yarmouth of the great state of Kentucky.
Yeah.
Hot debate between Mitch McConnell, and that was quite something for him to explain how he likes the website.
Yeah.
It's not the Obamacare law.
Kentucky Connect is just a website. It has nothing to do with Obamacare.
Yeah, don't give the black guy any credit for that.
Yeah, no, of course not. Hilarious. All right, so we'll talk to him about all of that, and then Carlos joins us for hour number 3, live in studio. Coffee with Carlos. Okay. I know. Second Ebola case at this Dallas hospital where we had just by the way, due to no booking prowess of yours, the head of the Nurses Association just called in.
He did better, though.
I did better. I did. As soon as she told me her full name, and I was like, Google. Oh, look, Huffington Post has columns from her.
Okay.
You're like, not just some Nimrod with an opposable thumb that can dial.
Right.
Oh, actually is the head of the Nurses Association.
For all I know, she could have just given me that name to get by me.
Right.
But
because we have a tendency to have callers that are the exact experts in whatever subject we're talking about.
Exactly.
Anyway, so what was I saying? Yeah, so she was saying exactly what obviously other nurses associations are saying, that clearly, I don't know whether the protocol was breached or they don't. She said they just don't have the training, that they have not trained them adequately.
Right.
You know me, I can't do anything. I couldn't watch a video. I'd be like, no, you need to come show me on the suit. I would do the thing.
Well, what I'm worried about now, too, is they're sending these cleanup crews in Dallas.
Yeah.
And everything's privatized down there, so it's like Tom, Dick, and Harry's carpet cleaners going in to clean up Ebola.
Right.
And
it's like chem-dry?
And cutting corners so that they can make more profit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do these guys, are they wearing safety suits? Are they doing everything?
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's the thing that scares. It's in Texas.
You're right. They're those cheesy. I use those cheesy carpet companies. They're like, of course this stuff gets out the dog urine.
Yeah.
Is it that powder stuff?
They're like, oh, yes, this is some magic ingredient that gets out the... No, it doesn't.
They'll dry up the Ebola.
Yeah, it's just those guys. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so this is clearly that's the thing, is we don't know exactly what happened or what was what protocol was breached or what. And by the way, I don't know. Protocol just is the word that everybody uses now.
Yeah.
Not even sure what that means exactly, but it's right.
Yeah.
All right. I think the important thing is, what does Chris Brown think about the Ebola? What does Chris Brown think we should do? Should we beat it to death? Should we use Rihanna to beat it to death? Really? Really, celebrities? Can you just seriously shut your pie holes? Chris Brown seems to be kicking himself. Well, at least it's himself and not someone else.
Exactly. At least it's not a girl.
After tweeting out his thoughts on the Ebola virus.
And what are his thoughts?
By the way, if you're a celebrity listening right now and you're like, I have some thoughts on Ebola, just hush now.
Here's your lesson.
Hush, 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 hush.
Shut your big yapper.
Yeah, exactly. Shut your big yapper. He wrote, I don't know, but I think this Ebola epidemic is a form of population control. is getting crazy, bruh.
Bruh? He used bruh?
Yeah. It's getting crazy.
And he used bruh.
Noted scientist Chris Brown. Okay. Population control. He quickly followed up with this tweet, let me shut my black up. Okay.
At least he learned very quickly.
I think that's a better idea.
Yeah.
I think that's a much better idea. In other celebrity Ebola news...
We have... How many celebrity Ebola stories do we have?
Not so fancy Iggy Azalea.
Oh.
Explodes paparazzi. I hope you have Ebola and die.
Oh, dear.
Iggy Azalea flipped out on a paparazzi over the
weekend. She of the song Fancy.
Right.
Yes.
Yelling, I hope you have Ebola. I hope you die. You're a f***ing... The favorite word of the Happy Hour podcast.
Effing C word?
Effing C word. Favorite phrase of the Happy Hour podcast.
Apparently she's a fan of the Happy Hour podcast.
We have to invite her on the Happy Hour podcast.
Yeah, get on that.
I'll work on that. She'll
that is said almost every week on the Happy Hour.
Can swear up a storm.
Yeah, shortly after her friend spotted the photographer following them at a Los Angeles grocery store and spat on him. Oh, my. Okay. What? Oh, are you... Somebody owes the hotline. He must go.
Okay.
I love that he thinks it's like Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
Really? How important could it be? It's our show.
Right.
All right. Ooh, it's the bat phone. All right. By the way, we have another hate letter from Nick, which I wanted to start with before we get to the rest of the news. Yeah, because this is the guy with the, the ill eagles.
Oh, that guy.
This is the no punctuation guy. This is the complete lack of punctuation
guy.
Okay. Nick. And I think the subject is always the same. The subject always is liberal idiots.
Right.
Right, but then there is a complete punctuation-free little screed, usually.
You can't take that serious.
Right. He's the one that you took off on because he spells illegal, ILLEAGAL.
That's not even sick birds. That doesn't exist.
Something else. But clearly he is on the people that don't spell or speak English good. Okay. You know what? I find it very informal the way he starts. He sort of starts in mid-thought, mid-sentence. No sort of salutation.
Any capitalization?
But not even starting with a preposition.
Just jump right in there.
With just a small W, with American haters known as Obama and liberal idiots. America has Ebola in America, ISIS in America, and elsewhere Islam animals cutting people's heads off. 4 brave men dead in Benghazi. 2 brave men dead. 2 fast and furious IRS scandal scum like Eric Holder going after good people at Fox News. And what he should have done was go after the scum at MSNBC. More people on unemployment. Illegal garbage that don't belong in this country, but liberal idiots hate America and want their votes. There is more corruption in America due to liberal idiots and Obama than ever before. Liberal idiots and Obama has divided DEVIDED America.
What?
Divided.
I really want to see Nick and Sarah Palin try to have a conversation.
Worse. I'm not done. Worse than the Civil War, and truly the South should have one, because then America would still be the best country in the world because of liberal idiots and Obama. There is Vladimir Putin.
Oh, God.
What?
Spelled VLADAMERE. Vladimir Putin, and no one is scared of America or trust America anymore. America needs to get smart and vote out the liberal idiots and impeach Obama and throw him and his liberal idiots in jail for what they did to America. All right, thank you, Nick.
Okay. Wow.
Nicely done. Nicely done, sir. Not to be slowed down by any punctuation of any kind.
Great.
Or even spaces in some cases.
I'm in awe of all of that right now.
No spell check, apparently. Or maybe that's just how you spell things in Nick's America.
You know, at least Nick got out of the subject line.
This is a Weaver. Nick Weaver. Hi, it's Nick Weaver's America. Here are my thoughts today about illegals and Vladimir.
Oh, my God. No, seriously, like, him and Sarah Palin could be amazing. He should be a guest on her channel.
Oh, God.
It's like 2 Scrabble boards just exploded. In
Conversations with Nick
They collided in midair.
Does she still have a channel?
Yeah,
apparently. How's that doing? How's that going?
Still there.
Good.
Chris,
Well,
aren't you watching that?
No, she's not gonna. I'm not getting reimbursed for any kind of subscription fee.
Tax deduction. It's work related.
No, it's not.
What are you so busy over there doing? Are you scheduling another haircut? Are you going to be doing like a bikini wax?
We seem to be off Free Speech TV, and I'm trying to take care of it behind the scenes.
Oh, all right. Well, fine. Sorry. I guess I shouldn't have shown a spotlight on that. See, you know why? Because people crashed in trying to see your hair.
I'm producing here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm never clear what you do. Okay.
That's what the phone line was ringing for.
All right.
It was there on the other end.
So all the latest on this Ebola case and much more as we continue. Rude Pundit coming up at the bottom of the hour. 16 minutes after the hour, it's the Stephanie Miller Show.
Call Stephanie.
This hour of the Stephanie Miller Show brought to you by GoToMeeting, the proven solution for meeting and collaborating with your team online from anywhere. Visit GoToMeeting.com. Click on the Try It Free button for your free 30-day trial. All right, 21 minutes after the hour, 1-800-STEPH12, the phone number, toll free from anywhere. As we roll along the, Rude Pundit coming up at the bottom of the hour.
Yes. Are you okay over there?
Yes, I'm just looking at a thing on the interweb.
Oh.
The same Republicans who are blaming President Obama for Ebola cut $600 million from the CDC's budget since 2010.
Yep.
Just an FYI.
GTK.
GTK, write it down. Here's this is from the Department of Think.
Okay.
Feds could have done more in Dallas Ebola case, CDC director says.
Yes.
Perhaps.
They could have.
Ebola has haunted Dallas for 2 weeks, killing one man, infecting a nurse who was treating him. In hindsight, CDC Director Dr. Tom Frieden said on Tuesday the nation's health protection agency should have stepped in and taken control when the country's first Ebola case emerged. Mm-hmm. He said getting it right is really important because the stakes are so high. We could have sent a more robust hospital infection control team and been more hands-on with the hospital from day one about how this should be managed. And that's what we just randomly had the head of actually the California Nurses Association call, but obviously nurses elsewhere are saying the same thing. We haven't been given any training or
that's right.
And that they're not prepared the way they should be. So I think it's that's I guess goes without saying in this case. And I think he had said yesterday it is likely we're going to find more than one case. This nurse is probably not the only one infected.
And I guess
she's doing better, which is the good news.
Yeah, she is doing better. She's upgraded to good.
Right, condition. And she got the plasma from Dr. Brantley.
Yeah. I hope he doesn't run out of blood.
That poor guy. It's like a vampire movie for him. Again?
Third person he's given blood to.
Oh, for God's sakes. All right, go ahead. Here's my neck. It is. It's like Dr. Brantley Vampire Slayer at this point. Is that the third one?
That is the third one.
Yeah.
Because he gave it to the other doctor, the cameraman from NBC, and now this nurse.
Right. And, of course, there's a controversy once again about why the guy that died did not get blood from Dr. Brantley. But the last I heard is it wasn't a match blood type-wise.
And, yes, there has to be a match. And also, he was too far gone for it to have done anything. That was what I heard originally.
Yeah, that's what I thought. There was a poll. Washington Post ABC News poll, 2/3 of Americans confident the federal government and local health infrastructures can handle Ebola. By the way, I heard one of the right-wing shows doing what, of course, they do is fear-mongering about the government's lying to us. And it's amazing how quickly I love that they act like the government always has run seamlessly, like during Hurricane Katrina when George Bush was running the government. I mean, and look, clearly, they've got to do more here and figure out what's gone wrong. But it's just to automatically start these conspiracy theories like the government's deliberately lying to us.
And Michael Savage was saying that Obama let this guy in so that he could infect the entire country with Ebola.
Of course he did.
Really?
Right.
Well,
that's what Bob Seska was saying yesterday. That CNN has as an expert on the guy who wrote the book on Ebola, and by that they mean the fiction novel from 30 years ago about how someone deliberately infects people with Ebola so that some heroic doctor. That's a novel. It's not a book about Ebola. Oh, for God's sakes. Anyway, but I just think that is just as irresponsible. And clearly the problem is there's human error, whether it's in them turning, away this guy in the first place in the Dallas hospital, in not perhaps having the proper training or breaching protocol or whatever it is, but anyway, same number is also concerned about a widespread Ebola epidemic in the U.S., though. A whopping 91% believe the TSA should be screening air travelers from West Africa, which they are.
Which we're doing.
Right.
We're screening 95% of them.
Right. 67% support restricting travel from the affected region to the United States. So anyway, that's the first polling on all of that. The president yesterday.
We are surging resources into Dallas to examine what exactly has happened that ended up infecting the nurse there. Obviously, our thoughts and prayers are with her.
Bentley. Bentley is the name of the King Charles Spaniel, and he's a handsome boy, so handsome.
I saw a picture of him.
His name is Bentley.
And he's cute.
His name was not Puddles. I told you that yesterday. You think every cute little dog's name is Puddles?
Puddles, yeah.
I think Oprah has King Charles Spaniels. They are adorable.
They are adorable.
Okay. Oh, and a big, we mentioned this yesterday, but Mark Zuckerberg.
Yep.
And his wife donated $25 million to fight Ebola. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg, his wife Priscilla, he said they want to stop the epidemic before it spirals further out of control and becomes a bigger and more expensive global issue to fight like HIV.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, right? I mean, that's the lesson we learned about HIV. It would never, if not for, homophobic and political considerations, we could have stopped that a lot sooner.
That's right.
The CDC director, Dr. Tom Frieden, again.
What we're doing at this point is looking at every aspect of prevention of infection in the Dallas hospital.
Jennifer in L.A., you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hello, Jen.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm thinking that back when this big AIDS epidemic was happening, we had what was known as universal protocols in dealing with infectious disease that is transmitted by bodily fluid. Back in the day, we had no idea what was really causing AIDS and this whole thing, and so they were ultra careful. And I worked for a dental HMO during that time, and we made sure that every single provider on our list was tested and knew full well what universal protocol is.
Right.
And I'm wondering why this is not being taught to nurses these days. My second point is, if we had universal health care, that initial patient would have never been related.
Yep. Thank you. One of our, I can't remember which of our brilliant writers we have on the show wrote that this week. That, if you were really concerned and this was really a we thing, that's what we'd be saying. Mm-hmm. This is why we should have universal health care.
Absolutely. This is a very, very good illustration as why.
And Jen, you know what it is? It's like I hate when people go, let's, now we're going to do the right thing because, somebody I know might get it, rather than we should do the right thing to do the right thing for most people, and not like, you're giving free stuff to people, right?
Right. This could hit us all because people aren't paying attention.
Right, and that's what I was saying. So I think that, just as there was homophobia surrounding AIDS, I think, let's face it, there were people here that, behind closed doors are going, it's a bunch of poor brown people in Africa. Who cares? Well, now they care.
I knew a gay man back in those days, and he was HIV. And before I knew he was gay, and before I knew he had HIV, I'm sorry, he asked, I had a Rolling Stone on my table, and it was all about AIDS, and he says, do you think this is the fault of gay people? And I said, oh my God, no. How could people even think that? And then it was after that he came out to me. And it was just a scam. A few years later, that he and his partner have spent years died of AIDS.
I know. Thank you, Jen. All right back with Rude Pundit on the Stephanie Miller Show. This is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. 34 minutes after
the hour.
You
okay over there?
Yeah.
What happened?
I had to brush Max. He had some mats in his belly. Okay. 1-800-STEPH-12, the phone number, toll free from anywhere. Who else needs a belly rub this morning?
It's Lee Papa, the Rude Pundit. Pundit.
He's a good boy. Good morning, Rude Pundit.
Good morning. Yeah, sorry about bugging out on you on Monday, but just before going on, I got this call saying I've got to put my dog to sleep. So I,
Your friend, your friend.
Yeah, being a superhero, this is what I have to do.
Yeah, you were doing a solid for a friend.
Yes.
Aw. I'm sorry, honey. Been there, done that too many times.
Yeah.
So I love your piece. We were talking earlier about the debate between Mitch McConnell and Allison Lundergan Grimes. I said it right.
Kind of.
Sort of. You say Democrats once again put on their coward pants, and then you can say all you want, but you can cavil all you want about Allison Lundergan Grimes' refusal to answer whether or not she voted for Barack Obama. You can sit there all self-satisfied and pat yourself on the back. You support the sanctity of the secret ballot, but in your hearts you're really thinking, Grimes, just answer the mother question.
Yeah, she really just should have answered it.
Yeah, I mean, Rudy, you wrote this great piece that I was quoting last week, The Quiet Competence of Barack Obama, and it continues to just astound me. The Democrats don't run on his accomplishments.
And there's really at this point, there's only one reason that they're running away from it. And we all know it's because of all the white yahoos that are going to come out to vote in the midterms that hate the black guy.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the mind-boggling part, and I think you brought it up earlier and you probably talked about it yesterday, was McConnell refusing to acknowledge that Kentucky's Obamacare exchange, which is what Connect is,
right,
is somehow different than Obamacare or anything from the Affordable Care Act.
Yeah, the website's fine. I hate the law. Really? Because the website is the law.
Yeah. What is he saying? Is he commenting on the design of the website? Should the webmaster be patted on the back because of its ease of use?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but that's where the funding for that came from. It came from the Affordable Care Act. You stupid doofus.
Okay, good boy. Now, the other thing, I mean, it's not just the sometimes cowardice of Democrats, but it's also, like you say, there's a double standard. You were talking about this Wendy Davis ad. First of all, people know Greg Abbott's in a wheelchair. It's not like
right.
It's not like that was something she was like. Well, what she's saying is that he has not been for the same kind of justice he got.
Right.
And so, but of course she gets taken to task for it, right? She gets excoriated, as you say.
Right, yeah. I mean, Mika Brzezinski was like,
she went ape dump, yeah.
She was so displeased.
She pointed her of outrage at Wendy Davis and fired, as you say.
Yeah.
Doesn't it always look that way, though? Doesn't it just look like,
yes.
She just, yeah.
Like the Woody Allen movie, but she has two large, angry pointed directly.
Yeah, like they've got guns in them, and she's just going to start firing.
Was that in a movie like Sin City or something?
Yeah, I think it was in the Machete Kill.
Okay, yeah.
But that's the thing. Democrats do hard hitting but fair ads that raise valid points, and it's just that's out of bounds.
Yeah,
You were talking about this other one, the one from the Agenda Projects that says. It says Republican budget cuts to the CDC and NIH have, over the United States' ability to respond to a potential Ebola crisis, which is true.
Right. Well, I mean, let's put it in perspective. What we're really talking about is the sequester. And the sequester was agreed upon by Democrats and Republicans. But ultimately, the people that want to keep cutting are the Republicans.
Right.
And so and people say, "Oh no, we have to tell the truth. We can't manipulate the truth." And I say, "Screw that." Manipulating the truth and causing fear is what works. And now we can use that. So, you know what? Get your pull your panties out of your butt crack and let's go to work.
You said a failure of Democrats to show that Republicans would take away health care from millions of people and are responsible for our crumbling infrastructure, slow jobs recovery is a failure of imagination, messaging, and leadership. It's cowardice, purely and simply. Once again, allowed the Republicans to set the rules of engagement. And I think that's exactly what it is. You start from a Republican narrative, right?
Right. And I mean, and that's the way things have been run since Clinton. That you must, and probably even back to Carter, the idea that you have to take this Republican position on things and then somehow develop out from it. To me, this is the tragedy of so many Democratic plans. Yes, Obamacare is great, but because Obama was afraid to make it into a Democratic plan with a public option for fear of not getting Republican votes.
Right.
We end up with something that while successful, is not as good as it could have been.
Right. And as we were just saying, certainly the Ebola crisis points once again to why a universal health care system would be ideal.
Right. Yeah. Because if you're in states like, say, Texas, where there are so many people, 5 million people that don't have health insurance, you're going to wait. If you get a fever, you're going to wander around for a while before it's so bad that you have to go to the emergency room, and by then you're probably bleeding out of your nipple.
What? For some reason, I just pictured that in Mika Brzezinski, and that was just,
I
don't.
All right. What? And then what's great is Joe Scarborough and Mike Barnacle would just laugh.
Yeah.
I have to read this because it probably is this is saying a lot. My favorite rude pundit paragraph in The Quiet Competence of Barack Obama. You said, if you listen to the media, mostly on the right, but some on the left, by this point of the administration of President Obama, we should be in road warrior-like hellscape of crushing death panels, sending us off to concentration camp ovens, calling it medicine, riots in the streets over the confiscation of guns, surveillance nano drones entering our rectums in order to hear what our brains are thinking, undocumented Mexicans with Ebola or terrorist ties or huge calf muscles torturing cops all along the border before suicide bombing our malls and infecting our babies, and Christians being whipped in their homes by ululating Muslims who force them to kiss the Koran or face being beheaded, all while our Negro dictator and his transgender wife laugh with their Negro cabal and Wall Street cronies about the misery of everyone who fraudulently voted for them. Except that those things are not happening.
Yeah.
No, none of it is. And but every day, I mean, I talk to people every day who think that something like that, at least one of those things, is happening. And it's just so maddening to sit there and go, but there are facts, things that you cannot dispute that show you are wrong.
Right.
And for the most part, they don't even want to hear it at this point. It can't even penetrate their thick friggin' skulls.
What you say is Paul Krugman and others point out when it comes to those, sorry, but things seem to be progressing in a pretty positive way out here in the real world, right? I mean, and you say, where do you want to start? Millions of people have health insurance who didn't have it. The unemployment rate is below 6%, down from 10%. Deficit has shrunk to 3% of the GDP, down from 9.8% in 2009. Right? If you're a rich puke, you've gotten way richer. Corporate profits are up. Oil imports are down. Alternative energy sources are finally growing exponentially. Crime rate is down. How many states are we up to same-sex marriage? How many terrorist attacks on his watch in the United States? I mean, on and on, right?
These are all hard numbers. These are not things that you can fudge. This is, it was one number. It is one number now. And I just don't even understand. I mean, yes, Krugman makes the case in Rolling Stone about that this is one of the most successful presidencies, and he's basing that primarily on Obamacare, but there are other things. I mean, the Obamacare, as he says, is a transformative thing, and we're not going to know how transformative it was for another few years.
Right.
Unless the Republican Congress and, President Ted Cruz get rid of it.
Yeah. And as you say, the Obama administration has operated with subdued competence. And it really is astounding to me. And again, you have stuff in here you disagree with them about. You've always, been vocal about that. But, and as you say, once again, it's been done in the face of unprecedented opposition from Republicans who in the Congress who demand the country must be run by a GOP dictatorship or not at all.
Yeah, because what else do they want? If you must do everything Republicans say, and they have stated that they are unwilling to compromise, then what you want is a dictatorship of Republican ideas. And so, I mean, here you have Obama and the Democrats who every step of the way have said, what can we do to bring you into this? What can we do to work together? And every time their hands have been slapped, and then they run screaming away going, oh, no, they didn't let us put in enough amendments, even though the amendments were, just bug nuts crazy that they wanted to have a debate on.
Right. You had an interesting take on the Supreme Court's gay marriage, as you say, semi-decisive non-decision. You said the Rude Pundit is with people on the left and the right who think the Supreme Court totally punked out on it. As the New York Times wrote, every day the justices do not declare a constitutional right to same-sex marriage. A child in San Antonio feels confusion and shame that their fathers cannot get married. A woman in Atlanta is prohibited from making emergency medical decisions for her life partner. A man in Biloxi, Mississippi is denied veteran survivor benefits after his husband dies. And you say what the court did yesterday was imply a gay couple in Indiana deserves more rights than a gay couple in Texas. And that is true.
Yeah, and we can say that read the tea leaves and say that probably that Robert didn't want to was trying to figure out how to do it and he didn't figure it out yet how to be on the right side of history or there's ways to do that. But the other thing I fear is what happens if Ruth Bader Ginsburg something happens to her or and that it's a Republican Senate that is demanding at least a Kennedy-like moderate.
Yeah.
And even with a Democratic president, it's just
that nagging feeling that could these rights really be taken away, and they could, and that's why we keep saying over and over how much elections matter. I mean, as only you can put it, you said you can posit the court's wisdom is to make same-sex marriage so regular as if once the lube spills out of the bottle, it's impossible to put it back in. It is legal lube. You are correct.
It is.
But elections...
Have you ever spilled lube and then, tried to go, oh, God, I got to try to get this back in the bottle?
I assume you mean motor oil of some sort?
Yes, that is exactly the kind of lube I mean. I don't know what you're using on your vibrators, but...
Vibrators, plural? Well, someone's been fishing around in Mama's drawers. All right. Rudeness, great stuff as always, honey. And we will see you next week.
All right.
There you go.
Wow.
Well, now.
What are you using on your vibrators?
No, I better go check.
Motor oil?
46 minutes after the hour.
Oh, God.
Right back on the Stephanie Miller Show. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. 51 minutes after the hour. I'm sorry, just because we were just talking about marriage equality, I have a fun stack for you.
Oh, okay. Yay!
Yes, because, well, I don't know what, some fun music, whatever. Because as we know, all straight sex is sacred everywhere.
Sure, yes, every sperm is sacred. Every sperm is great. If a sperm gets wasted, God gets quite irate.
Right. This is for the people of Walmart, Florida staff. So you can only, the mind starts to reel.
Oh, Lord, all right.
Police in Brooksville have arrested a man for allegedly masturbating using a stuffed animal inside Walmart. Employees say they saw the man using a stuffed horse toy and go to the bedding department where he masturbated into the animal. The incident was caught on camera. That's kind of sweet that he took it to the bedding department at least. It wasn't like he just did it right there in the aisle. There's a little bit of romance in that. He then put the toy, now covered in
that,
back on the shelf. Police say other items were contaminated and could not be sold. Great! Now we need to wear a hazmat suit to Walmart because there's for everything. All right, at least it was a female stuffed horse that he was having sex with in the bedding department at the Walmart there in Florida. Yeah. Okay. By the way, gay people, icky. Yeah. Okay. 1-800-STEPH-12, the phone number, toll free from anywhere. You know what? I'm going to save that for the happy hour podcast.
Yeah.
I bet you.
We might need to go over that again.
Yeah, we're gonna need to delve into some different levels of that story.
Let's see what international journalist May Lee thinks about
that. And of course Jim Ward, who will be on the happy hour podcast this week. Okay. Back to Ebola.
Oh boy.
Dr. Tom Frieden, CDC director again.
And really, it's an ongoing process. We're already today implementing some new procedures to make it safer and easier.
Do you think?
Probably should have implemented those a little while ago, but
this is what the head of the Nurses Association told us yesterday.
Yeah.
They need to, I think, toot sweet get on that training. I assume they must have, I'm sure the CDC did send out guidelines, but people, they probably thought, that's not going to happen here. Mm-hmm. We're not going to have an outbreak here that we need to be that level of training for. Remember we had someone call yesterday that said just for asbestos stuff, she had like 40 hours of training. You can only imagine for something like Ebola, what they should, the training that they should have.
Yeah.
Dr. Frieden, again yesterday.
Before he was hospitalized, had exposures or potential exposures to 48 people. Second, once he was hospitalized, there were at least 76 people who might have come into contact with him or his blood and who are being monitored now.
This is all scary. Dr. Frieden, again, one more time.
I've been hearing loud and clear from healthcare workers from around the country that they're worried, that they don't feel prepared to take care of a patient with Ebola, that they're very distressed that one of our colleagues now has contracted Ebola and is fighting the infection in Dallas. A single infection in a healthcare worker is unacceptable.
Yep.
And obviously, in case you just tuned in, there is a second worker at the Texas hospital where the Liberian man died, who has tested positive for the disease. The CDC said early this morning. Officials have confirmed the health worker did provide care to Thomas Eric Duncan. Hey, all right. And a former coworker of the Dallas nurse who is infected.
Knowing Nina, she's one of the most meticulous, thorough, effective nurses. Like, she taught me infection control and hand hygiene and protocol. Like, I learned so much of that from her.
Well, that's what they were saying, too, is that these are the most highly trained nurses in that particular hospital. So, you know, it seems to me, particularly now that there's a second infection, that it was the training. It wasn't that perhaps she breached protocol. I think that there obviously was a breach in the training they received.
Apparently, the suits that they were wearing, there was skin exposed. And the skin should not be exposed in an Ebola case at all.
The head of the World Health Organization yesterday.
Disease continues to expand geographically. There are more districts, counties, and prefectures that actually have disease than there would have been a month ago.
Yeah, what is the, we mentioned this yesterday, I think it broke during the show, but what is the number? Oh, they're saying the death rate in the Ebola outbreak has risen to 70%.
Yeah.
And there could be up to 10,000 new cases a week in 2 months. The World Health Organization said, and that's why, you know, they were saying when they compare it to AIDS, why we need to. He said that basically we need to get on this immediately. He said if the world's response isn't stepped on within 60 days, a lot more people will die, and there'll be a huge need to deal with the spiraling numbers of cases. And again, we have background in that from stuff like not just AIDS but polio.
Yeah, absolutely.
Diana in Wisconsin, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Diana.
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
Thank you.
I'm so upset at how this is being portrayed to the public. This was a private hospital, and it seems like all of a sudden, media, public, everybody is like, it's Obama and it's CDC. They should have did this. They should have did that. Well, they did do what they were supposed to do, but you're sending letters to a private hospital in Texas, of all places. And they probably didn't give a rat's ass about what they were reading. You know, I mean, it's coming from...
Well, you're right. It is up to each hospital to implement the training and all that, right?
Right. So they only know, CDC only knows whatever the hospital officials or state officials or whatever, health officials in that state were telling them. And now that they didn't follow protocol from the get-go.
Right.
Okay,
well, and Diana, you wonder if it is some of those people that are big government telling us what to do. Screw them. You don't know, right, with what they did with the information.
Well, yeah, and it only goes to show that we need regulations, and we do need federal departments such as CDC helping us, and we need it uniformed.
Right.
I mean, this is such proof. So I wish the media would be out there talking about stuff like this instead of, oh, Obama, it's under his administration. Oh, CDC, they don't know.
Well, and Diana, we've said this before that, you know, they're all about, you know, no regulation, and why would we need to regulate fertilizer plants, for instance? Well, we see why. And now
they explode.
Yeah, and Texas is notorious for that. I wish that would be out in the news more, too.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it is now.
Yeah.
You just said it. Okay, 58 minutes after the hour, Representative John Yarmouth, Carlos Alzraki, much more as we continue on the Stephanie Miller Show. Coffee with Carlos Alzraki, comedian extraordinaire, live in hour number 3 right here in studio. 1-800-STEPH-12, the phone number, toll free from anywhere. Well, we had us a debate in Kentucky, and what a fabulous time to have the chocolate congressman from the great state of Kentucky on, Representative John Yarmouth, one of our personal favorites. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Stephanie. Good to talk with you again.
You too. How about that, Mitch McConnell? He seems to like that website just fine, but not the whole Affordable Care Act. Isn't that something?
Well, it's bizarre, and I have an opponent who's actually trying to make the same argument that we can not only keep the website, but we can also keep the 521,000 people who've gained insurance through the Affordable Care Act. We can have them keep their insurance while we repeal the law. And of course, it's absurd, and nobody's buying it, but they keep saying it.
Yeah, I love this. There's a piece on Mediaite. It says, as multiple critics have pointed out, that literally makes no sense. Let's listen to what Mitch McConnell said last night. This is in the debate in Kentucky. Here he is, talking about the Affordable
Kentucky Connect is a website. It was paid for by a $200 and some odd million grant from the federal government. The website can continue, but in my view, the best interest of the country would be achieved by pulling out Obamacare root and branch.
That really
makes no sense.
Literally makes no sense at all, right?
No, it doesn't. And again, what they not only are saying stupid things about the Affordable Care Act, but they never have an alternative.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mitch has had the same alternative that he's had for 5 years, which is medical malpractice and competition. Well, competition is what the Affordable Care Act is promoting. We now have competition through the exchanges for people's business. And furthermore, people actually get to know what they're shopping among. They actually can see the plans right in front of them, compare them apples to apples. And that's the beauty of the system. And it has held rates down. I mean, the average premium increase this year is supposed to be around 3%, which is an amazing improvement over what it's been historically.
Well, this is
again, they're just floundering around trying to figure out how to deal with something that the American people, while they say they don't like Obamacare, they like all the things about Obamacare.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, and I think a particular problem for Mitch McConnell and your opponent is Kentucky has been the gold standard. I mean, it's been an undisputed success in Kentucky because of Governor Beshear's implementation of it, among other things, right?
Exactly right. I mean, we've in 1 year insured 42% of our previously uninsured population. That's astounding. And there's this incredible chart that the state government put out, which is color-coded as to how they improved the uninsured in every one of our 120 counties. Every one of the 120 counties had a drop in the uninsured rate, and some of them dramatic, from near 20% uninsured rate to less than 5% uninsured. So, yeah, it's been enormously successful here. People are getting treatment for the first time in many years, if not in their entire lives. And what's more, the people who have problems in their family, have diabetes or whatever it may be, have a sense of security now, which they never had before.
Well, right, and that's what
policies don't have lifetime limits. They don't have annual caps. Nobody's going to go bankrupt because of health care costs. So even the ones who already had insurance, again, have a new level of protection.
And by the way, I love that's why I love the way media rounded this up at the end. They said that's not a gaffe, because pundits have a tendency to go, oh, what a gaffe. It's a blatant refusal to honestly address the future of his constituents' health care. So I mean, it's just dishonest, right?
Of course. And it was fascinating. Mitch had an editorial board session with the Cincinnati Enquirer last week, in which he actually seemed to endorse single-payer health care. But so sorry.
That's okay.
So and my son, who is in journalism now, he actually picked up on that and wrote a column about it. And it's astounding that it's because he has no idea about what's going on. He is totally disconnected from not just real lives, but what from his own Congress did. Mm-hmm. And he's done nothing but read the talking points that were put out by Frank Luntz in early 2009. He's not departed from those same talking points.
Well, I mean, and it must be so frustrating for you to know that Republicans are the ones who have cut funding and made fun of those Obama czars, and now they cut funding for things like Ebola, and now we're screaming for an Ebola czar instead of confirming a Surgeon General.
Well, again, that's the hypocrisy, but more so that's the danger of this ideological bent that has taken over the Republican Party, that it's cut costs across the government. Government can't do anything right. Well, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy if you cut off the funding that government agencies need to do their job.
Right.
And
no, exactly. Now people are they're criticizing the NIH and the CDC when they've had their funding cut. They literally came out and said we would have had an Ebola vaccine by now had we not had all these cuts.
Exactly right.
I love my other highlight of the debate last night is Mitch McConnell said, I didn't earn my millions, I inherited them.
Yeah.
Which I love, because they were debating the minimum wage, which of course Allison Langdon Grimes is for, raising the minimum wage, and I love that Mitch McConnell thought that was a good point to make, that he didn't earn his money, right?
Right. Well, I mean, it's actually true, and I've said that before. Mitch didn't get rich off the government; he got rich off of Elaine Chao.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I mean, nobody's begrudging that.
Well, they did when it was John Kerry's wife, if you recall, but sure.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. I don't begrudge him that. But again, to say that I've got mine now, however I got it, and nobody else is going to get theirs, is typical of many Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's take a listen to that moment. Here he is.
I can't let that stand. She's been given 4 Pinocchios for that as well. To claim
so you're not a multimillionaire?
To claim that I got
Is he not a multimillionaire?
Public expense. She knows that that's a result of an inheritance that my wife got when her mother passed away. And she's consistently gone around, Bill, all over the state and suggested that I've somehow enriched myself at public expense. Let me tell you, her family has made more money off the government in the last 10 years than I've been paid in a salary in all my time in the Senate. That is an outrageous suggestion. She knows it's wrong. She's been given 4 Pinocchios repeatedly.
I think her point was well taken, that is not a living wage, currently what the minimum wage is.
Oh, exactly right. And, again, the more I hear of the debates around the country, I had 3 with my opponent over the last week, the more I realize that they're all talking from the same playbook. Every argument is exactly the same. Everyone relies on deception or outright falsification. And, I mean, when you're talking about the minimum wage, they all quote the CBO report. They say the CBO report says this is raising the minimum wage is going to kill 800,000 jobs or whatever. No, I'm sorry, 500,000 jobs, which is not what the CBO report said. But they just repeat that comment because that's in their playbook.
Yep.
Right.
And it's like nobody has thought independently about this issue these issues in the entire Republican Party.
And I was reading something, Representative, a poll. I think they were talking about. I'm sure you've read, whether it's Forbes or Paul Krugman. I mean, there are such cold hard numbers to show how well things have gone under President Obama, and yet I was reading a poll. Voters are punishing Obama for this one economic failure, and I guess the one thing in the poll is stagnant wages. But you go, if anybody's been fighting for wages to raise wages, it's Obama and the Democrats, right?
Well, exactly right, and and I try to make that point whenever I'm out. When you look back, when Obama took office, we were losing 700,000 jobs a month. The Dow Jones average was right around 7,000. Unemployment was 10%. Now unemployment's less than 6%. Dow Jones is having a bad day today, but it's still at 16,000, so more than doubled. And we've had 55 consecutive months of private sector job growth. Now, those numbers are irrefutable.
Yeah.
And so, does he deserve total credit for that? No, nobody ever deserves total credit for what happens in the economy or total blame. But to say that the economy has not improved under his leadership is just a blatant misrepresentation of reality.
Yeah, absolutely. How are you feeling going into the midterms? I mean, we can't say it enough about turnout, right?
There's no question about it. And the thing that I keep stressing when people ask me about our Senate race, because the polls are closed and Mitch has been ahead in most of them recently, except for the latest one, the Survey USA poll, which put Allison ahead too, is the enthusiasm factor. There is no enthusiasm for Mitch McConnell anywhere in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. There are people who will vote for him, but there's no enthusiasm for him.
Yeah.
And last weekend Allison had a rally in Paducah, Western Kentucky, a heavily Republican area. 3,000 people were there.
Wow.
Mitch had a competing rally, 25 people were there. So
yikes.
I was at a senior event here in Louisville. Now, granted, Louisville's a different place than the rest of the state, but I was at a senior event there for 45 minutes. Of all the people who came to talk to me, which I would say were 50 to 60 during that time, only 3 mentioned something other than getting rid of Mitch McConnell.
Wow.
Now, I don't care what the polls say. When you're on the ground, you sense something that is just compelling, and that is people are sick and tired of Mitch McConnell. They want to get rid of him. Allison still hasn't sold some of them. I think that's, very accurate. But she did a great job in the debate the other night, I think, standing toe-to-toe with him. People looked to and said, no, she can, she's up to the job. She's every bit the measure of him.
Yeah.
And we don't like him, then she's a viable alternative. So I'm very, very optimistic as we go toward the 4th because, I think the enthusiasm, the energy, and she has a get-out-the-vote operation that is unprecedented in Kentucky. There are people, it's like a presidential campaign. There are hundreds and hundreds of people coming from out of state to work on her campaign to get out the vote.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And also, hopefully, for the present and future Representative John Yarmouth of the great state of Kentucky. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Thanks as always, sir. Good luck.
Take care.
All right, there he goes. Love him.
Yep, he's awesome.
Love him. Not much enthusiasm for Mitch McConnell in Kentucky. You know where there is, unfortunately? Galapagos Islands. But that's a lot of his relatives, a lot of his turtle relatives. So if they could count votes from there.
Yeah, they need to count all the votes in the
turtle tunnel.
Right. Then he would win. Okay, 18 minutes after the hour, right back on the Stephanie Miller Show. 22 minutes after the hour, Coffee with Carlos Alazraqui live in hour number 3. Let's go to Henry in Memphis. You're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Henry.
How you doing, Miss Stephanie?
Good. Go ahead.
Hey, look, the thing I want to talk about is basically about the Ebola. And you already touched on it quite a bit earlier in reference to how Congress and Senate have consistently cut the funding for, the
NIH. Yeah.
Yeah, to cut the funds in order for us to be able to have these safety precautions, isolation unit, also for pharmaceutical companies to keep on hand different viral drug to fight the diseases and stuff that we have.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really a shame not to have these medicines on hand available at all times. But because, see, they try to put a price tag on everything.
Yeah.
There's some things you can't put a price tag on because these things are essential. For some reason, they think, none of these things can ever reach our borders because we're isolated by oceans on 2 sides.
Right. But, we obviously know that that's ridiculous, and, this is proving it, and there is a cause and effect. Right. This is what they said. This is why they're trying to rush. Remember, when this first started, they're like, we don't have enough vaccine. Mm-hmm. A lot of it's not even clinically gone through clinical trials yet. It's directly because of the funding, and that's what they said this week. John in Washington, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, John.
Hi, Mama. I heard, I can't remember where I heard it. I've been looking for it online. But somebody said, this is going to be a chaos election. Now, they probably say that every time describing one thing or another. But it's different when the people running are the ones creating chaos and then getting rewarded for it.
Right.
It's so frustrating to see that, like, even on something like this, right? Everybody knows that if Rick Perry had taken that Medicare expansion money,
mm-hmm.
And if we'd had single payer, this could have been avoided.
Right. Well, I mean, and look, they make it seem like, it's just the government that's incompetent. It's like, oh, really? It didn't run as well as it did during, say, Hurricane Katrina when George Bush was running it? I mean, this is directly because of Republican obstructionism, whether it's the sequestration and the budget cuts or not appointing a surgeon general, right?
Before you, I used to listen to Al Franken, and Al Franken used to say that back in the days of Air America. The government, the Republicans want to prove that government is bad. Yeah, it's bad when you guys run it.
And you know who's proving government does work? Senator Al Franken. All magically full circle. You see how that happened?
Yes. He's very good.
All right. By the way, going to blind you with science again.
Oh, boy.
Think about this. A newly published Pentagon report reveals the government is preparing for an unintended consequence of climate change, increased terrorism threats.
Okay.
This makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
See, and this is what I always say. They're going to do anything until it makes like, oh, you mean someone I love might get killed, rather than, admitting climate change is real and we're causing it.
Right.
The report issued Monday lays out the factors leading to increased terrorism. First, the military would be strained from the additional work of responding to national disasters, flooding, droughts, violent storms. In the U.S., in addition to facing climate change threats such as flooding on their own bases. Second, and more pressingly, climate change causes instability in other countries by impairing access to food and water, damaging infrastructure, spreading disease, uprooting and displacing large numbers of people, compelling mass migration, interrupting commercial activity, and restricting electrical availability. The Pentagon writes, these developments could undermine already fragile governments that are unable to respond effectively or challenge currently stable governments, as well as increasing competition and tension between countries vying for limited resources. These gaps in governance can create an avenue for extremist ideologies that foster terrorism. We actually should need another reason to fight climate change, but here it is. To prepare for such conditions, the Pentagon has begun integrating climate change scenarios into all its war games. Mm-hmm. No word if Matthew Broderick or Ali Sheedy are involved.
Or Whopper.
Right. As well as preparing their bases for rising sea levels, developing new strategies to maintain their supply line. According to an expert on climate change and international affairs, climate change has already led to terrorism and is directly responsible for the rise of ISIS, which has consolidated its power by seizing control of key water sources in the Middle East. Climate change and water shortages may have triggered the drought and caused farmers to relocate to Syrian cities and triggered situations where youth were more susceptible to joining extremist groups.
Wow, that makes total sense.
Yeah, right? I thought that was fascinating. Maybe it's just me, but I thought it was...
And that came from the Pentagon.
Yes. The president, by the way, talking about ISIS.
This is going to be a long-term campaign. There are not quick fixes involved. We're still at the early stages. As with any military effort, there will be days of progress, and there are going to be periods of setback. But our coalition is united behind this long-term effort.
And Josh Earnest, White House press secretary.
That impact is constrained by the fact that there aren't forces on the ground that can follow up on those airstrikes to end that siege.
Yeah.
Would you like to know what Dick Cheney thinks?
Not really.
No.
Computer says no.
No, I don't really either.
He has something to say about this?
He wants you to be afraid. He wants you to be very afraid.
He always does. I'm not afraid of him.
Salon writes, former Vice President Dick Cheney has once again emerged to warn Americans that ours is a very scary world. Thanks to you, yes.
Yeah.
One that demands a strong leader who won't hesitate to waterboard terrorism suspects and perhaps invade a few countries to make a point about American might.
Even if it's illegal.
Did we do that already?
Yeah.
We did that already with the racket.
Yeah.
Pause this thing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. More of Dick as we continue on the Stephanie Miller Show.
Stephanie Miller
is not responsible for any damage done to your vehicle.
And do it. And do it. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it, 34 minutes after the hour. Coffee with Carlos Al's Rocky.
I'm not having coffee.
Live in hour number 3. You are cranky because you are fasting because you're having something today.
I'm, going to the doctor, checking under the hood.
Seeing what's going on. What's what and who's who up there.
And I haven't eaten since 5:30 yesterday.
All right, Hulk. Settle down.
No coffee or anything.
It's causing you to just obsessively shave hair on your head, your beard. I don't know what's happening. You're molting something. All right. So, I don't. Why does Dick Cheney keep talking, and why do I keep talking about it?
Because someone keeps giving him a platform.
Oh, you know who did? Bill Kristol. He sat down with Bill Kristol, only to be a fly on the wall. Wow.
So, the two wrongest
wrongers in wrong bill.
Yeah.
Right. Discussed at length what Kristol called Cheney's distinguished, exemplary, and model career.
Oh, my God.
Most notable is Cheney's defense of the Bush administration's post 9/11 security policies, for which he asserted, I think we don't have any apologies to make. Oh, along with the 9/11 happening on your watch?
Right.
Yeah, okay. He hailed enhanced interrogation techniques as the key to their... Right. Mm-hmm. He said, what are you going to do? Just say, please, please, pretty please, tell us what you know? That's not going to work. So we developed a series of techniques. Waterboarding was part of that process.
I see.
Right, which is what we hung the Japanese for after World War II, when they did it to us,
right,
as you recall.
Exactly.
Yeah, because that was torture then. And a not-so-thinly veiled shot at Rand Paul. He said, you've got to be a fool to believe an isolationist strategy is the way to go. We've got no choice but to be involved in the Middle East. Right, because of you.
Right, because of your war of choice.
And if we're not actively involved there, some very bad things are going to happen. Oh, now a warning? Now some very bad things are going to happen. Okay.
Now a warning?
Thanks for that. Regardless of how embroiled the U.S. is in the region, check this out. Cheney expects a mass casualty attack at some point that will be even worse than 9/11 attacks. Wow. Doesn't that sound like he's just kind of a wishing and a hoping and a praying?
Yeah.
Yikes. He said, so we're in a very dangerous period. Let's see. And I think it's more threatening than the period before 9/11. And I think 9/11 will turn out to be not nearly as bad as the next mass casualty attack against the United States. Which, if and when it comes, it will be something far deadlier than with airline tickets and box cutters. Is that me, or does he just really sound like he's really, really hoping for that, so that they can look better about their massive security failure?
That's exactly.
Seems like he's wishing that on Americans, if I read that correctly.
No, you're not missing anything there.
He said we need a really strong leader. We need somebody who can step up and remind the world what the United States is capable of and demonstrate the willingness and ability to do that. Oh, I think he did that already.
Yep.
I think he did that. Yeah, we've been there, done that. That's why we're where we are now. But thanks, Dick. Thanks once again for chiming in. Robert in Florida. Hello, Robert. Welcome.
Ciao, Bella. How are you?
Hello, ciao.
Can I be the official angry Italian guy?
Yeah.
Let's go. Bring it on.
Usually angry Italian guys don't say ciao, Bella.
This for her, not you. My thing is this. This Zuckerberg guy from Facebook, and he gives $25 million.
Right.
Okay, let's step back and take a look at this real fast, real quick. $25 million is equivalent to me, you, giving $12. And what does he get for this $12? He gets notoriety. He's the hero of the week. Everybody, let's love me. And meanwhile, me and you give more. Do we get a national mention and an international say how good we are to try to help Ebola? I mean, I think we've done more to try to stop Ebola and educate people than Zuckerberg. Don't get me wrong. This guy, $25 million is $25 million. I don't know.
Right.
I'm pretty sure, but still.
Did you give $12 for Ebola?
I gave more.
Okay.
I give blood. I gave blood the other day.
Oh, okay, good.
But the thing is,
well, I mean,
look, we're praising a guy who's more likely going to write off the $25 million at the end of his year as a tax, donation.
Right, but that's exactly why we have those write-off, benefits. So
I don't think so.
To encourage people to give.
You really feel like you want to give, then give. I mean, I'm tired of driving by hospitals with some guy's name on it just because. Just give the money quietly. It's like scoring a touchdown in the end zone. Give the ball to the referee.
Doing an end zone dance. Aye.
That's right. I love you.
I love you. Ciao. Aye. Yeah. Aye. That's what we say.
Do you?
But thank you, Mark Zuckerberg. I don't think at this stage we should
criticize. I don't think we should criticize a gift like that.
Yes, I think that's spectacular.
Yeah.
I'm saying, boom, gave blood $12. So there. Bam!
Yeah.
Bada bing.
I can't give blood.
I get his point. Why? Oh, because you're...
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I don't know what I meant. Hairless. That's what I meant to say. You're hairless. You're not allowed. I was talking to John Yarmouth about this. Headline voters are punishing Obama for this one economic failure. This just kills me. Go read Rude Pundit's piece, by the way. We have a link up, right?
At StephanieMiller.com and at your Facebook page.
The quiet competence of Barack Obama.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those rare, fair pieces about the president. This piece says President Obama should get some credit for pulling the U.S. economy out of the nosedive in 2009 and ending a brutal recession before it became a depression. But voters are feeling punitive, and they're inclined to believe Obama has flubbed the economy, which could cost Democrats the Senate in the midterms just a few weeks away. So why can't Obama get a break on the economy? So this poll in particular, it says the biggest letdown Obama's watch has been stagnant incomes, which is the one category that he performs worse in. And as this article fairly points out, it's the thing he has the least to do with.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it that when, whoever's the guy's in charge, you're going to, I guess, take it out on him. But this just kills me because, first of all, as I was saying to John Yarmouth, if there's anyone that's been campaigning not just to raise the minimum wage, but to do something about income inequality, it's the president and Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
They write it's worth asking whether any policy formulated in Washington under any president could solve the intractable problem of stagnant incomes. Again, this is not a thing that he even deserves blame for, which was evident even before the recession that began at the end of 2007. Businesses now have the flexibility to hire workers wherever it's cheapest, and they're increasingly substituting technology for people. Washington is unlikely to change that. Just good points, I thought. It's possible that wages will bounce back and resume a trajectory similar to in the past, but we're also in an era of profound technological change, similar to the Industrial Revolution in the 1800s. We may still be closer to the beginning of that transformation than the end. The digital revolution has eliminated many middle-class jobs, especially in manufacturing, where assembly line workers are being replaced by robots and software. So far, new jobs that pay well haven't materialized to replace them, and few in Washington have ideas about how to create such jobs. Note to politicians, cutting taxes does nothing to create jobs, and that's the only Republican idea we ever hear, as if that's some better alternative. Mm-hmm. It's not going to do anything to increase wages.
Nope.
All right. Look out below. Chris Christie falling, everybody.
Oh, come on.
Put on your hard hats. Ooh.
That's going to hurt.
Speaking of polling, he's hit a new low.
Oh.
This is the lowest favorability rate ever recorded for Chris Christie. Yes, 42% feel favorable toward him, 45% feel unfavorable.
That's not good.
The only job, he said, left for me to run for is the United States Senate. Let me just say this, I would rather die than be in the United States Senate. Don't worry, there's no danger of people in New Jersey electing me to anything.
Not with approval numbers like that.
No. I'd rather die. Okay. By the way, Ann Romney says, stop it. This is hard, and they're not going to do it again.
Stop it.
Mm-hmm.
This is hard. You want to try it? Get in the ring.
Yeah.
This is hard.
Mm-hmm. She was asked about a potential third run for president by her husband. She said, done, completely. Not only are Mitt and I done, but the kids are done. Done, done, done.
All right.
I guess that counts for tag and fling and flern.
Track and
Flargen and whoever the other ones are.
Yeah.
I get them confused with the Palins. No, it's tag. Tag Romney and
Zeke and Zeb and Ted and Fred
and Flavin
in Tennessee.
Asked if there were any circumstances under which she would encourage him to attempt another run, or if she would support him if he wanted to run. She said she hadn't been pushed to that point mentally, but they would make the decision together. Oh, that's leaving it open a little crack, isn't it? Oh, still hard though. Okay, you know what? You know how you know the biggest sign? The biggest sign that he might be thinking of running? He's whipping out the zingers again.
Oh, God.
Could I have some comedy music, please?
Oh, God,
okay.
No.
I'm just giving you guys fair warning. This is the new joke. Mitt Romney's using to make fun of President Obama. You ready? It's like a whole story joke. Do you remember that in advance they would tell us that Mitt had zingers ready for the debate?
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh
boy.
Wow, thanks for the warning. He launched a zinger, President Obama, at he was campaigning for Crazy Joni Ernst in Iowa.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay, are you ready? President Obama went to the bank to cash a check, and he didn't have his ID. And the teller said, you've got to prove who you are. He said, how should I do that? She said the other day, Phil Mickelson came in. He didn't have his ID, but he set up a little cup on the ground, took a golf ball, putted it right into that cup, so they knew it was Phil Mickelson. They cashed his check. And then Andre Agassi came in, and Andre Agassi didn't have his ID either. He put a little target on the wall, took a tennis ball and a racket, hit it into that target. We knew that was Andre Agassi, so we cashed his check. You look like you smell something bad. Are you anticipating that there will be less than a raucous, uproarious punchline at the end of this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm bracing myself.
And she said to him, is there anything you can do to prove who you are? And Obama said, I don't have a clue. And she said, well, Mr. President, do you want your money in small bills or large bills? Because I guess the president doesn't have a clue. That's the part of the thing that's the punchline there at the end. Okay.
I wonder if he got anything.
That's like longer than a kid joke.
Yeah. That is a kid joke.
All right.
Yeah. The jokes that Mitt Romney tells are kid jokes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so he's got that. He's got some zingers ready.
At least he didn't mess up and then back up and then start over again from the middle like kids do.
Okay. 45. No, wait, I got that wrong about that. No. The little person was not a tennis player. Hang on. Okay, 45 minutes after the hour, right back on the Stephanie Miller Show. Yeah, it is the Stephanie Miller Show. 15 minutes after the hour. 1-800-STEP-1-2, the phone number, toll free from anywhere. He makes coming early so hot. Hi, Carlos.
I take it back, like my man.
Coffee with Carlos sells Rocky.
Buenos dias, latte. I'll have a Kenya cappuccino.
You've never had
Mountain grown coffee.
Carlos sells Rocky.
I was going to make espresso. And make my one Valdez. Coffee with Carlos. Good to the last drop.
Nice to wash down a big bear aspirin there. Hi, Heart Attack Mike. How are you?
Heart Attack Mike is fine. Heart Attack Mike actually takes low-dose Bayer aspirin.
Yes, a lot of people tweeted they were expecting you to say something wildly inappropriate in the bear commercial.
Or do Far Away Dog.
No. My heart.
Yes.
Because fresh off your latest Triumph in the Happy Hour podcast, they were like, wait a minute.
Yes. I just had to Gene Wilder my way up your street today because it's impossible up there. Will you let me in, please? I don't want to wait 12 minutes to make one turn. Let me in.
There apparently needs to
be
hate
you, LA.
a turn signal at your
Yes, we forgot to tell him to put the candle back. That's how you get
Put the candle
very carefully.
Yes.
put the candle back.
That's how you get the light to turn. I'm sorry, I forgot to.
Yeah, I didn't know that. And I just...
Those buttons are placebos, aren't they? The change the light buttons, aren't they? They just like tick-a-tick-a-tick-a-tick. They don't work.
Legend has it that many years ago there was a left-hand turner in Los Angeles, but it went extinct and was put on a reservation like our people.
Yeah, they don't believe in that in L.A.
You were in
I get it.
Even weirder mood than usual this morning.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
Let's let unfettered real estate development go out of its mind and add less left turn arrows because there will be more traffic. I'm your city planner, Mr. Stupid.
Yeah, we should have the best city and street planners on earth here in the city, and we don't.
We have the most corrupt.
Because I know what you mean. That street out there, that line of cars is always like, it looks like the Indy 500. I'm like, really? How many cars are there? And why is there no left turn signal?
I think I see Moses in the middle. Follow me, people. Follow me.
Who's letting his people go?
Every morning you got to cross the Exodus of the Jews.
I know why you're in a mood. We just did Mitt Romney's latest zinger.
Oh, yeah.
That's why, he might be running. He had a zinger about President Obama. It was very long, about bank teller or something, whole thing. Chris in Yankton writes, guys, oh, my God. The payoff for that joke from Mittens was totally worth the wait. Did he follow it up with a joke about a peanut walking down the street who was assaulted? Get it? Assaulted? Crickets.
That was that old Monty Python one.
It was from the back of Boys Life magazine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Also, did you hear the one about Obamacare where a comically oversized hook comes from offstage, yanks Mittens off, crowd fidgets uncomfortably, grimaces like there's a bad taste in their mouths? Mittens and humor.
No, Mittens. Got his wife doing an interview from the ranch with horses in the background. That's not endearing to the American people.
She says they're done. Done running for president.
And the kids are done, too.
Yeah.
Sure.
All their kids.
Yeah.
Tag and
He's not going to threaten Tag's not going to threaten anybody.
No. Didn't he? He did. He threatened to punch President Obama.
Yeah, he did.
I feel like punching him.
Oh, Tag.
He makes me so mad. I want to punch him.
Why do I think Tag is just so tough?
But then I'd lose my allowance.
Exactly. Carlos.
Yes.
I believe you will play this parrot in the movie. Did you see the pet parrot missing for 4 years now speaks Spanish?
Oh, buenos dias.
Nigel, the talking parrot. He spoke.
Nigel. I mean, he left like this. Right.
He did speak English with a British accent.
He did.
When he disappeared 4 years ago, but it seems Nigel not satisfied with just one language. He using his mysterious time on the lam to pick up Spanish.
Huh.
His owner not sure where he went or what the African gray parrot did.
He went to Torre Molino. They speak Spanish there.
He also likes talking about someone named Larry.
Oh, me gusta Larry. Ah, sus dedos. Oh, en mi cuerpo.
He and his owner have been reunited, and it feels so good.
That means his hands on my body.
Right, bilingual now.
Huh. All right. Wow.
Just saying, I think that's an animated movie with your name on it.
A parrot is smarter than most American people.
Maybe
myself.
There's a Taco Bell parrot in your future.
Yo quiero Larry.
All right. Hey, guess who reappeared? Kim Jong-un.
Oh, yeah, he better now.
Yes.
You better.
Yeah, we discussed this on the Happy Hour podcast.
Yeah, you are going for the Disney World for a little bit.
Fatty 2x4 could not fit through the DMZ door, and he kept shattering his little tiny bird ankles.
Ow, Skinner! Oh! Tetanus.
He apparently had gained a little bit of weight.
A little bit.
And he likes to wear platform shoes, and apparently he kept breaking his little sparrow ankles. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un showed using a cane for support, presumably because of his, that's up to a person, little ankles.
For support.
Yes.
You a skinny person.
He reappeared in state media after a lengthy public absence, with that fueled speculation over his health, his grip on power, etc. Several pictures show him smiling and gesturing on a visit to a housing development in very slimming black suit like normal. Although you can tell he's,
There's only so much black suits can do to
I
slim
need
you.
to buy a tailor. Do a Copperfield.
A source with access to the North leadership told Reuters that Kim was in firm control of the country, but had heard his leg taking part in a military drill. I don't think Fatty 2x4 was taking part in a military drill. I do not. Kim, who has visibly gained weight since coming to power after his father died of a heart attack. You know what he needs? He needs Bear aspirin and a little bit. He needs Bear Mike.
Me and Rodman and Heart Attack Mike are going to go visit him. Here, a couple of low dose.
He'd been seen walking with a limp since an event with officials in July because he presumably shattered his.
His sparrow ankles.
Right. Because he likes the beluga caviar.
Beluga caviar is delicious.
Right.
Yeah, put it on a Lucky Charm in the morning.
Okay. All right. Hey, guess who might be running for president? Hillary Clinton.
What?
You don't say. The deuce you say.
I do say. Yes, I do. She may reveal her plans even sooner than we thought. One we're hearing. New York Times reports she may weigh in sooner rather than later. In September, she said she would decide after January 1st. But the New York Times said she could speed up any 2016 announcement if the Democrats lose ground in the midterms. They write, if the Democrats lose control of the Senate in the midterms, the party may need to quickly pivot to presidential campaign. The Democratic Party would look to Mrs. Clinton as its Noah's Ark, a vessel in which voters and donors could channel their enthusiasms.
A
little bit. And frustration.
Two of every sexual preference may hop on board.
Clinton has also been campaigning for Democrats leading up to the midterms, including Bruce Braley in Iowa, Michelle Nunn in Georgia, and Allison Lundergan-Grimes in Lundergaard. Mr. Lundergaard-Grimes in Kentucky. I don't know why I can't say that.
These headlines, she's in trouble. More trouble for Allison Lundergan-Grimes.
Well, Chris was. It's close, and so this pisses me off. But you were saying that it looks like the Democrats.
DSCC has pulled their money from her race and is going to put it towards closer races.
Wow.
Because that has been close, and that's huge to be that close for this long.
Yeah, but the
Senate minority.
The trajectory over the last couple of weeks hasn't been.
Well, that's why they should not push out now, is all I'm saying.
They just need some big donors.
Right.
Some Facebook type guys. But their money is going to help people in other parts of the world.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. Well, we're going to settle. Catch our breath. More coffee with Carlos.
As we take a low dose.
Bear Mike, as you know him, as we continue on the Stephanie Miller Show. Even though we were all sleepy, all for different reasons.
You because you have volcanoes erupted last night.
Because you have spawned.
I've spawned, and the little girls were, Daddy, Mommy can't sleep, right at the same time.
Oh boy,
the bitching hour.
You look a little daddy tired. I am just tired because I didn't sleep because I am a loser.
And a drunk.
And you, yes.
You're a loser. I'm the drunk. What a creep. You're a loser.
And you, because you apparently spent all your time getting rid of hair. Look at how much less hair he has the last few songs.
I am shorn.
You're newly shorn.
Well, yes. And I'm also tired because I haven't had any coffee this morning because I'm fasting.
Right.
Yeah. Because I'm going to the doctor.
Get it all cleared out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just go to one of them car washes, get them high pressure washers, and stick it in your mouth. Get it all cleared out.
Up my bum.
Up your bum. That'll clear it out.
Oh, maybe
25-cent car wash in a month.
Maybe this is for you. Everyone wants to know what thieves are planning to do with 18 tons of Crisco.
Oh.
Perhaps this is for your procedure today.
There's drop off at the brothels.
What could anybody possibly use for? They have for 18 tons of stolen Crisco. That's what everyone in where?
Florida.
Yeah.
Okay.
St. Petersburg, Florida. Now the entire world is wondering after someone swiped a semi-truck carrying 18 tons of Crisco.
Restaurant supplies.
Either Marcus Bachman is having a big rave or... All right.
Crisco Kid.
Donna in Maryland, you're on the Stephanie.
Don't think that's how that song goes.
Hey, Donna, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show with Carlos. Go ahead.
Hey, Steph, this is your favorite travel agent in Maryland.
Yay!
Oh, hi.
How are you?
Okay.
So I want to talk about the Ebola.
The Ebola?
Yes, and the travel industry. It's just, I mean, people are canceling all their bookings for next year. I got a group of travel agent friends that we talk all the time, and a lot of them specialize in cruises, and they're getting cancellations left and right. And some of them with good question, like where's the staff coming from? You know, because the staff on cruise ships
Very international staff
are not typically from the U.S. And
we've already had a few of those poop cruises as it is without Ebola, right? Mm-hmm. Where everybody's shooting diarrhea like water hoses.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Captain Phillips.
So, you know, it's just, and I'm looking at all these Africa tour companies that are just, I mean, they just said their bookings are just, they just dropped drastically. Yeah. And people don't understand that they're, you know, if they go to Kenya, they're not going to more than likely they're not gonna get Ebola from, going to Kenya.
Right.
So
That's a huge
They don't
difference.
understand that Africa is it's not one country, it's a continent. So
Right. Right. I mean, the president was born there and he didn't get it, so.
Stop it.
He brought it over from there.
There you go.
All right. All right.
That's true. Obviously, if you're going, any trips concerning West Africa, even though West Africa and Liberia is in West Africa, it's probably huge swaths of land in between where the disease is centered and where people want to travel. But still, people are being cautious. And she's right. Most cruise ships, I've worked on a couple, have an international staff, and you don't know what kind of hygienic standards they have to hold up to. But the latest case, I think it's the cases that are breaking out are the nurses that are in direct contact with a patient when they're vomiting and having diarrhea.
Yeah,
everything I've heard, it's very hard to catch unless you're really in a concentrated area of bodily fluids, like hospitals.
Which the nurses would be. There's been a second healthcare worker.
Yes, I heard that this morning in Dallas.
Right. And that's what we don't know. We had the head of the Nurses Association call yesterday and said they have not been given proper training. No. So you don't know whether there was a breach or whether they weren't trained properly in the first place.
They just weren't ready for it because it was that black African disease thing. It'll never happen here.
Right.
It's just happening to black people in Africa.
Yeah.
Why should we worry about it?
Well, and that's also a training issue, I think.
It's like seeing the air.
Most normal hospitals around the country weren't trained properly.
Sure. And it's like Jim's
because they weren't expecting it.
Bell toll of Fukushima, that radiation stuff happened over there, or that pollution in Beijing where they're wearing masks. That happens over there. It's sort of that small world.
How could that possibly travel?
Yeah.
Did I always have that hump in the middle of my back?
Yeah, it's that sort of attitude. And so, listen, you don't have hospital. You don't fight against the disease with the hospital protocols that you wish you had.
Right.
You fight the disease with the protocol that you do have.
Just use this hefty bag. It's the same thing as a hazmat suit.
Yeah.
Just
put this over your head.
It's like your mom making a cheap Halloween outfit. We don't need the store-bought one.
Yeah.
This is good. Just put a rubber band around the.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. I was saying the.
Go as a raisin.
I was going to use this plastic bag to pick up a dog poop, but now I'm going to tie it around my face.
I always say the 1,000-year-old man that I bought this house from. He did every repair with
duct tape.
Yeah.
Oh, masking tape.
No, masking tape.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know, Bill. Think you might need a plumber, but okay.
And you know what's funny is that duct tape isn't good for taping ducts.
No.
Yeah.
It is not,
because
oddly enough.
It doesn't expand and contract with the duct.
I
don't know if we are doing enough to fight Ebola, but Kirk Cameron.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no.
You going to pray it away?
Christmas is under attack, as you know. That's why Kirk Cameron is fighting back. He has a movie coming out called Saving Christmas. Here's the poster to for the movie to give you an idea of just how Christmassy it's going to be. There he is, kick-ass Kurt saving Christmas or kicking ornaments or something.
It looks like he's going to out of the way.
Looks like he's going to club people with a giant candy cane.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Yeah. The production team behind Cameron's movie told The Blaze this week in the movie's website, SavingChristmas.com, was targeted by Islamic hackers.
Oh, boy.
I think someone made that up to try and get this into the press.
This crappy movie some press? Well, it worked.
I'm going to do a movie called Rescuing Hanukkah.
There you go.
And you're not even Jewish.
I'm not even Jewish. Well, actually, my lineage is Sephardic Jewish. Alice Rocky with a K-I.
Okay.
Sephardics from Spain. So I could do it.
All right.
I'm in.
All right. How would your superhero save Hanukkah?
Well, there would be, the 8 days of the lamps. They would be going out. I would get a bunch of Crisco, which somebody stole from a truck, to light the lamps
near
again.
Boca.
The Crisco.
Right.
See how I use facts to put into my movie plot? Based on a true story, I would say.
I see what you did there. Okay. Wow, Zach Galifianakis has lost like 1,000 pounds. He looks great.
Uh-oh.
Handsome and romantic. Look at him. There he is.
Oh, he looks cool.
Yeah.
But you know what the sad thing is? Would that hurt his comedy career?
I think it might hurt his comedy career.
Yeah, well,
because he looks normal.
He's promoting Birdman, which he says is a different kind of movie.
Right.
He is still hilarious, though. When asked about his weight loss, he said, I'm dying. And then claimed that his suit jacket was a lady size 50.
He's awesome.
He's just awesome.
I don't think it will hurt Zach. I think he's transitioning into he's able to transition.
Yeah.
Like when Michael Keaton lost his hair.
Yeah, how hilarious was the...
and Michael Keaton is also in Birdman.
OMG. Mm-hmm. How hilarious was the Between the Two Ferns with the president? That was the smartest thing he ever did.
That's right.
Hilarious. Amalden, as Tom Brokaw would say, has changed her name, and probably because Tom Brokaw will have to say it more often now that she's married to George Clooney. She has changed. She's now Amal Clooney.
Oh, good for her.
Yes, she's an international lawyer. Amal. Yeah. She changed her name to whatever. Good for her. Good for her. How happy everybody.
My wife did not change her name. Kept her name.
Okay. Terry in Illinois, you're on with Carlos. Hello, Terry.
Hi. I was just, one of my comments in terms of the Ebola is that, they're talking about a breach of protocol. Well, probably the people are doing things correctly, but what kind of equipment are they actually wearing? We see the TV with the hazmat suits and things like that. But most hospitals, you have the gloves, you have these little plastic gowns, a face mask. You don't really have anything covering your eyes or your head. And I just really wonder what they were actually wearing, because that's probably where the breach is in terms of the proper equipment.
Or somebody was saying when they take it off.
When they take it off, getting the remaining
because that's when you break the seals.
Yeah, the gowns.
They don't have. I've been in the nursing home where, my dad, the people put on these little gowns. There aren't any seals to break. It's just like a plastic gown, and you tie it around your waist, and it has a little.
Right. But in these, these 4 Ebola hospitals across the country, they make sure they tape the gloves shut. And I don't think, normal hospitals do that.
No, and I really would think that it might be better protocol to actually send the people who have the disease to the specialized centers.
I was going to say that too. I think they should, obviously, given what's happened, they should send them to one of the 4 that we know is equipped to handle this. Yeah.
It doesn't have to try to prove that they're so good.
I'm going to assume that the old Karen Silkwood bath afterwards would do nothing. I guess actually once it contacts your skin, you can't take a Silkwood bath and scrub it all away. It's.
Has anyone asked Cher what she thinks?
Gypsy's crap, please. Wow.
Buddy, didn't she played a Les in that movie, didn't she?
She did.
Awesome. Okay, Buddy in Columbus, you're on with Carlos. Hello, Buddy.
Hey, Mama, Moose, Carlos.
Hey, good morning.
Do you know what Frankie said to Tony?
No. What?
Hey, Tony, he's so good. He rolled 5 strikes in a row. He's Ebola.
No.
Frankie did not say that.
That's a Mitt Romney joke.
All right, we need to recover from that. Okay. Ooh.
Frankie did not say that to Tony.
Hot mic.
Said, okay. You use my ball again, I'm going to break your freaking skull with your ball.
17 minutes after the hour, we roll along. Coffee with Carlos Alazraki on the Stephanie Miller Show.
There's a tea party.
Brought to you by Citrix GoToMeeting, the proven solution for meeting and collaborating with your team online from anywhere. Visit GoToMeeting.com. Click on the Try It Free button for your free 30-day trial. Mm-hmm. What is that song about? You are loopy this morning.
What? 1974. I remember that.
Wow.
That's a good song.
Oh, by the way, Carlos has escaped from Vagina Island, not the Cooter Cave. Whoever said that on Twitter, for God's sakes. All right. 22 minutes after the hour, 1-800.
You are cray. Cray.
Save that whole thing for the happy hour thing, that whole impression you just did of
you.
Certain parts of me.
Yeah, we'll save, Mm-hmm.
All right.
I don't think Maylee would appreciate that either.
All right. By the way, Carlos makes Parenthood sound horrific.
Yeah, I had to get in there this morning. Little Ostini had a little hard ping-pong-sized ball, solid. Sometimes she gets the poops real hard.
Oh, boy.
I had to get in there with my finger and get it out. Got to get in there.
Did you give her dip tat?
She's got to have her dip tat.
God. Okay.
Don't forget the bouquet.
Thank God I did not procreate. Okay, Joe in Minnesota, you're on with Carlos. Hey, Joe.
Hi, guys. When I was in the Marines way back when, I worked on the chemical protective suit stuff when we got new ones. Right in the manual, we were the guinea pigs. And there were about 24 Marines, and, we're pretty highly trained, and we drill on this all the time, and they would contaminate us with, non-deadly stuff. But when we take off the protective gear, we did this for almost 2 weeks with 24 Marines, and I'll bet you if we got 3 guys completely clear while doffing our gear, I'd be surprised.
Wow. The odds are that high.
It's so easy to contaminate yourself.
Wait a minute. So what did they shoot you with? Like that stuff that they use on Nickelodeon, that purple
Basically,
Slime?
yeah, it was,
Glurp or whatever they call it.
it was antifreeze and food coloring.
Oh,
wow.
Okay.
So, it's kind of sticky.
Yeah.
And they'd hose us down with a Wagner power painter.
Yikes.
And then when you take off the gear, we had a Tyvek hooded jumpsuit on underneath the protective gear that was white.
Wow.
So that when you took it off, it just almost glowed. Yeah. Oops, you were contaminated.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yikes. That's like...
Sanjay Gupta did it the other day, and he used like chocolate syrup.
Oh,
he showed
okay.
how you
What am I thinking of? What is that called? Oh, it is slime. The stuff on Nickelodeon.
Slime.
Yeah.
Slime.
Okay. I was thinking pink slime. That's different. That's the thing they put in meat.
Yes.
Okay. What was I going to say? All we have to base it on are all those movies, right? What's the Dustin Hoffman one? Outbreak?
Outbreak.
Yeah. Isn't there always somebody gets a cut or something in their suit? Or there's always something like...
That's the airborne. That's an airborne virus.
Right.
Well, in Outbreak, it was airborne.
Right.
That's like when you're wearing a hazmat suit, don't carry box cutters.
Right. Exactly. Don't run with box cutters when you're wearing a hazmat suit.
Yeah. Hey, look, the Dollar Shave Club. Look what I just got.
Don't trim your hedges while you're wearing a hazmat
I was
suit.
clipping my fingernails.
Don't clip your fingernails inside a hazmat suit.
Okay, Julie in Illinois, you're on with Carlos. Hello, Julie.
Hi, you guys. How are you?
Good. Go ahead.
Good.
Well, good. Hey, I was just calling because I work at a hospital here in Illinois, and every day we say, hey, what's the protocol in case Ebola comes to our hospital, and there's still no answers.
Oh, that's what. Yeah, this is what the head of the California Nurses Association said. She said they're not, and I think they did some survey of nurses, and the majority said we don't have the training. I mean,
well, that's fine and dandy, but we got to figure something out. I work in the lab, and I work directly with patient specimens, and say a specimen leaks, and I'm only wearing plastic gloves and a paper bag as a gown. That's not going to help.
Nope.
Yeah.
No. And also, you sound like 8 years old, which probably is illegal.
Stop it, Stephanie.
No, maybe you just have a cute voice. Just saying.
I'm 25.
Oh, okay. All right. It's fine then.
But I'm glad I got you on the air and share. I just wanted to vent to somebody.
Yeah, well.
And no one listens.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, I mean, this is why we're saying they got to do something about this, or you're going to have nurses striking. You're going to have hospital workers saying we're not going to care for. Obviously they're going to.
So you say there are four centers for.
4 centers. One in Missouri. No, I'm sorry. One in Montana. One in Nebraska. One in Maryland. One in Georgia.
So almost centrally located, except for the far coast of Georgia and Maryland. But you got 2 in the Midwest. So there's none out west, and obviously none as south as
Montana.
Texas. Yeah. Well, maybe we're going to start having to take those cases there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Marianne in North Carolina, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Marianne.
Hi.
Hi.
I saw on CNN Dr. Sanjay Gupta do the clothing, and I noticed that the headpiece that they were wearing did not cover up the back of their head or the neck.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and that was what they had on. The nurses had on when they took care of Mr. What's his name? So
Duncan.
then on MSNBC this morning, they showed a letter or statement from a nurses union in California who has been getting tons of information from and complaints from the nurses in Texas because they don't have a union, so they can get fired if they complain. And so they're letting the union know, and they said that they were complaining to management, this is in Texas, that that their necks were completely exposed. And do you know what management said?
What's that?
Put tape around your neck.
Yeah, I heard that.
Tape your neck.
Well, we had the head of the California Nurses Association call in yesterday, and, you make a really good point, because I remember they gave Schwarzenegger a bit of a political enema back a few years ago when he was trying to, strip them of all their power. And you're right, that makes a difference. In Texas, they don't have the same, power that they do out here in California.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes, sure. Yes, ma'am.
On Chris Matthews, he has this round table where he has 3 different people on, and one woman was saying that she has a close friend who is a physician in New York, and she in a hospital in New York City, and she said that in the ER they have big maps of Africa with all the countries and listed their capitals and colored in the 3 countries that are the most infectious right now and everything, so that if somebody comes into the hospital and says, well, I'm from Liberia, they can look on the map, oh, yeah, oh, you're from Africa. And I've always thought that when the reason they sent him out was not just because he didn't have insurance and because he's black and maybe he had an accent, but because whoever it was taking care of him did not know where Liberia was.
Yeah, well.
Also, he lied on his customs form.
Yep.
Oh, he did? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was coming back from Disneyland.
29 minutes after the hour. More coffee with Carlos on the Stephanie Miller Show. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. 34 minutes after the hour. Many years ago, Carlos doing an impression of my older years, which has turned eerily accurate.
Yes, I foresaw the future.
Go ahead.
Mama had an accent. Needs bath water change. Just get the colander and strain the chunky parts.
Okay.
You laugh about it like it's happened.
Yeah.
You've got a strange, acknowledging way of laughing about that.
Well, that and his,
Sometimes Mama's too tired to change it. Just strain it. We're living in a drought. Get the strainer.
The colander. Oh.
Okay, that is the
Pasta,
description
anybody?
of my nether parts, my lady bits.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, let's see.
This razor was supposed to be waterproof.
Okay, let's see. Diane with some not-so-fun facts. Listen, this is actually a very important story, what our caller was referring to, where it does make a difference, and this is why Republicans used every opportunity to union bash. Here's a good example of how unions are important. Out here in California, the nurses are unionized. In Texas, they're not.
Right.
Anyway, this is, Diane says, I thought you'd be interested in the story. I found... Dallas nurses describe Ebola hospital care. There was no protocol. Roseanne DeMoro, who we've had on, executive director of the National Nurses United, said the non-unionized Texas nurses could not identify themselves, speak to the media independently, or even read their statements over the phone because they feared losing their jobs.
Right.
They described a hospital with no clear guidelines in place for handling Ebola patients, where Duncan's lab specimens were sent through the usual hospital tube system without being specifically sealed and hand-delivered. The result is that the entire tube system where all the lab systems are sent was potentially contaminated.
Wow.
There was no advanced preparedness on what to do with the patient. There was no protocol. There was no system. The nurses were asked to call the infectious disease department if they had questions, they said. The nurses said they were essentially left to figure out for themselves as they dealt with copious amounts of bodily fluids from Duncan while wearing gloves with no wrist tapes, gowns that did not cover their necks, and no surgical booties. Protective gear eventually arrived, but not until 3 days after Duncan's admission to the hospital, they said. And now the latest, we're finding out that this second Ebola victim...
The second Ebola patient that we were told about this morning apparently flew on a plane the day before the diagnosis.
Prior to feeling symptoms. Once she did feel the symptoms, they said they had her quarantined within 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're trying to contact all the passengers that were on that plane.
Right. I'll like to get that call. What now? Scott in San Diego, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show with Carlos. Hey, Scott.
Hey, Boogie Woman.
Hello.
And hey, Carlos.
Good morning.
Man, I don't know. I feel like I'm channeling Donald Rumsfeld. He's not even dead. I have not seen so much henny penny, hair on fire madness on television since this thing came out. The Ebola outbreak is the ultimate and literal, if it bleeds, it leads news story, and the people are just going ape crap crazy over it.
Yeah.
And
well, yeah.
I'm not discounting, the possibility of health risks if you're exposed to it, but I'm not going to be worried about it until it starts racking up death toll numbers like the great flu pandemic 96 years ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, people die of flu, heart attacks every year, so yeah, I mean, this is obviously scary, and it's, literally, if it bleeds, it leads, but this is what Bob Seska wrote about yesterday.
And apparently the flight in question that this healthcare worker took was Frontier Airlines Flight 1143 from Cleveland and landing in Dallas-Fort Worth at 8:16 local time 2 days ago. So...
Oh, great. Somebody just heard that for the first time on the radio. Thanks, Chris. Someone just drove off the road. Joe in Wisconsin, you're on with Carlos. Hello, Joe.
Hello. How are you folks? I hope you're all
good. Go ahead.
I I am a hazmat responder. I'm also an instant commander, so I do train hazmat.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
So I have a little bit of idea of what's going on when you deal with chemical, and I do have a little background with biological, which is, disease and such. When I watch what these people have been doing, the first thing they did wrong was they did not dress to the max. I mean, when you have an incident where you're dealing with something you do not know, you go in full tilt.
Right.
You cannot go up after you're exposed. You can only go down.
Right.
And then I was watching a video of how they were deconning each other, and they were doing a lot of things completely wrong.
Wow.
When you're deconning, especially with something like this, when someone gets decon, the individual in the suit touches nothing on the outside of the suit while the clothes are coming off. The person on the outside helping them take the clothes off touches nothing on the inside. Once you cross those barriers, you've wrecked your decon. You've transmitted.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I don't think these hospitals. In fact, I'm almost positive there isn't a hospital out there that's really ready to do something like this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, these 4 apparently are, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's 4, that are equipped for this. But, it seems like until we certainly get everybody trained, I think they should only be going to those 4.
Looking it up on YouTube like a how to boil eggs recipe.
Yeah.
Let's see.
We do this every few weeks because I always forget how many minutes is it, and you put it in the cold water, or is
do the hazmat.
Right. Oops, I broke the seal.
Spanish. Spanish stickers.
I've had to look up how to tie a bow tie on YouTube. The over and under.
You're not very formal. You rarely are out of a T-shirt, so.
You're right.
It's true. If you need a video for how to do a bow tie, you think hazmat training a little bit.
Might be on that.
A little bit more expensive. A little bit. Could you take your organ out for me, please? Yes. Oh, why the Vatican backtracking now?
Yep.
Under conservative assault, the Vatican backtracking on their comments on the homo gays. Under furious assault from conservative Catholics, the Vatican backtracked Tuesday on its surprisingly positive assessment of gays and same-sex relationships. In a report Monday, the Vatican had said that gays and lesbians have gifts to offer.
What? It's like you're making them into people or something.
The Christian community acknowledged that same-sex couples can give precious support to one another. The statement, an interim report from a closely watched meeting of Catholic clergy here was widely praised by liberals. It is believed to be the first time the Vatican has said anything positive on gay relationships. One person described it as a pastoral earthquake.
Oh.
A big gay earthquake in the Vatican. But many conservatives complained that the statement watered down church teaching, blah, 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 did not accurately reflect their discussions. In response to such reactions, the Vatican backtracked a bit Tuesday. In a statement, they said that the report on gays and lesbians was a working document, not the final word.
Yes, first draft.
We're just spitballing here.
Sure.
Not the final word from Rome. The Vatican said it wanted to welcome gays and lesbians in the church, but not create the impression of a positive evaluation of same-sex relationships. No.
Yes.
Or, for that matter, of unmarried couples who live together. No. Thank God we cleared that up.
Jesus to come to the microphone to get our final marching orders, and then we will take notes and give you our rewrites and the final draft. These are only the blue pages. The pink pages will be coming tomorrow. They can't be pink. Pink is gay. I'm sorry. Green pages.
By the way, Greg Abbott, the Attorney General of Texas, current candidate for governor, he argued against a recent ruling striking down same-sex marriage bans in Texas, claiming this: same-sex marriage must be banned in order to ensure the survival of humanity.
It must
Nothing less, my friends. You seem to be fine with the baby making. Things seem to be progressing nicely over there on Vagina Island, despite the gays marrying.
Absolutely, and the survival of the humanity is due to straight parents having gay kids. We've got to find out what's going wrong with straight families having gay children. Something is going wrong.
Something has gone awry. Really? That musty old argument? That's really...
Because gay people won't possibly adopt children who will turn out to be straight and have kids. That just won't happen. Once you're gay, the gay goes through. It's like hardwire. Everybody knows this. It's facts. That's in the book of...
Book of Blackburn.
Book of Jebediah.
You can check it out at... or go online at...
Hello, Wes in Florida. You're on with Carlos. Hello, Wes.
Good morning, Mama. Ebola. We've had one guy die of Ebola, a couple of people contracted. All of a sudden, there's a panic in the streets. You have more of a chance of being killed by a toddler with a gun lately than you have catching, getting Ebola.
But that's actually...
If you haven't been around somebody that has it, you're not going to get it. So, these people need to quit, just quit fear-mongering, plain and simple.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's exactly right. What is the carnage every year from guns in this country? And we're like, eh.
Yeah, you have more chance of hopping the White House fence and getting inside the White House and enjoying a scone.
I don't think that
Has
guy
anyone actually ever gotten some scones?
Yes.
This is delicious.
I wonder if he got to the White House water that we drank.
We had that.
Yes.
White House water.
Kurt in Los Angeles. Hello, Kurt.
Hey, how you doing, gang?
Good, go ahead.
Hey, well, check it out. You just had a couple of decontamination experts call up and talk about how hard it is to get out of a hazmat suit.
Right.
But when they're tested, they get soaked with some type of spray gun and then go through this challenge. They told us like a month ago when this Ebola showed up that it was too hard to get infected with Ebola, that it was sexually had to be transmitted through bodily fluids, nothing to worry about. So I'm still not understanding how these two nurses have gotten contaminated.
Well, they did deal with bodily fluids,
Right,
presumably.
yeah.
They... Oh, dear, as my mother would say.
Oh.
No, I do not believe they were giving him a job.
I just got back from Liberia, and I am happy to see
They might have been cleaning up some vomit, some diarrhea,
Right.
something like that. Nurses deal with all of that.
Bedpans, all that sort of
Yes.
Okay, that was funny. All right, 45 minutes after the hour, back with the... Oh, dear. Right back with the remaining moments of Coffee with Carlos on the Stephanie Miller Show. Is the Stephanie Miller Show. Coffee with Carlos Salas, Rocky comedian extraordinaire, fresh from his latest Triumph in the Happy Hour podcast this week. This past week with Jim Ward. You are both deeply, deeply wrong together.
We have very
wrong.
Sans alcoholic beverages.
Yes, exactly. All right, but anyway, and this week, May Lee and Jim Ward on the on the big Happy Hour podcast. Go to StephanieMiller.com.
Yep.
Check it out. All right. All right. Speaking of drinking, Norway has arrested the first drunken Segway driver.
Oh no.
Everyone looks drunk on those things to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like that's... After lifting a ban on Segways last month, Norwegian officials have made the first arrest of a person driving it while intoxicated. A man was riding the Dorkmobile, according to Gawker.
The what?
The Dorkmobile.
The Dorkmobile.
Erratically. In Oslo when he was pulled over. They're awaiting the results of a blood test, but Finn Erik Grudensleven Suden.
I don't think that's how it's pronounced.
Close enough. Already concerned, Segway users may think that the rules about drinking and driving don't apply to them.
Don't apply, no.
Actually, well, that was in a really bad, isn't it, ironic file. You know how the inventor of the Segway died, right?
Off the fjord.
Yes.
Isn't it ironic?
He was testing a Segway, and he went off a cliff.
Testing
So
it?
that testing and.
Look at me, these things had air brakes.
All right. Oh, because you are a. Oh, by the way, Halloween's coming up. What are you, the little girls dressing as?
Wonder Woman and Batgirl.
Okay.
Aw.
Because they make even the little girl costumes a little bit hoary, don't they? Just
Yeah,
a
they do.
tiny-
Make it a little bit.
Make Daddy a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, a little bit Kardashian-ish.
Oh.
I don't know where you fall on jeggings, or are they of the age to wear jeggings, but a North Dakota high school has banned female students from wearing leggings, jeggings, or tight jeans.
What's a jegging?
What's a jegging?
I think it's that really tight jean. I hate any woman that
I
looks
see what
good in
you're
them,
saying,
so
like
I
they're
don't really.
You wear pajama jeans.
Yes, I do. Which is not sexy at all.
No.
But really comfortable.
But you came down here and showed them off to us like you were really proud of them.
I was.
Are they?
You know how I found out about them? Alice and Janney. I went to a party at her house and she was wearing them. And I'm like, if a big time celebrity like her can, just saying, pull that off. I'm doing it.
All right.
Yes. Citing concerns that such attire can be distracting to their male classmates and makes girls look too much like the pre-bathtub scene Julie Roberts in Pretty Woman. She was wearing jeggings? I don't remember that. An English teacher explicitly told students their tight pants make them look like prostitutes walking the streets. The principal introduced the new policy by playing clips from Pretty Woman and saying, "You look like whores." Parents were talking about how they think the boys should be able to control themselves and the girls should be able to wear the leggings and the jeggings and the whatever else the kids are wearing.
And the Flavin.
And the Flavin.
You
Exactly.
need to dress like Boardwalk Empire whores.
Exactly. You will presumably teach your daughters to dress like a better class of whore.
Better class of whore back in the days. Above the saloon.
All right. In other sexism news, wow. A Republican state lawmaker wrote in a blog last week that U.S. Representative Ann McLean Custer, Democrat in New Hampshire, will likely lose her re-election race in November because she is ugly as sin. Mm-hmm.
Oh. Ooh. I don't think beauty is a qualification for...
Representative Steve Vaillancourt compared Custer to a drag queen in his lengthy post and said she will probably lose to her Republican challenger, Melinda Garcia, who is truly attractive. Oh. Why am I guessing this guy's probably not much of a looker?
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest, he writes. Does anyone not believe that Congressman Annie Custer is as ugly as sin? And I hope I haven't offended sin.
You're funny.
I mean, come on, Waxman looks like the Phantom of the Opera, and he's been around for a while.
Oh. Henry Waxman.
He does.
No, he looks more like the melting face.
Oh, at the end of it.
Raiders.
It's so beautiful. Oh.
He once ate next to me at a salad bar.
Oh, God.
Who?
Those rabbit teeth?
Waxman. He was with his lovely wife. I'm like, I'm not able to pick out celebrities in their natural habitat. I'm so horrible at that. But I recognize Henry Waxman sitting at the table next to me.
Stephanie Miller's show has no information. Representative Henry Waxman chews like a rabbit. Okay. And we apologize to Mr. Waxman.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I said it.
Let's move on. Why, looky here. You know, them voter ID laws ain't doing so good in the courts.
I've heard that.
But in
Struck down
Texas...
left and right. They just did a new academic study suggests that white people are more likely to support voter ID laws when they're shown a picture of a black voter than a picture of a white voter.
Right.
What could all that be about? What's that same Fox News? Oh, look, what do those people call the, that same footage they run of what is supposed to be the scary
Black Panthers.
Yes, Black Panthers. Look, Black Panther.
Got a coloring book.
Ooh, intimidating you with afros. Look. All right. Speaking of racial issues, so the clergy were just arrested, including our good friend, the official preacher of the Stephanie Miller Show, Reverend Jim Wallace.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Was arrested in. They were doing the protest there after a long standoff and heavy rain. About 10 clergy members. Pardon me.
And where? You said there, Ferguson.
Ferguson, Missouri.
You
Yes.
said there. I guess Ferguson. You didn't say
Oh,
where.
pardon me.
Mm-hmm.
I apologize. They were taken into custody. I saw him, and he was Cornell West and Reverend Jim Wallace. The demonstration is the first to form of a series that organizers promised on Moral Monday, part of the Ferguson October protests over the weekend. That drew a lot more people than they were thinking.
Yeah,
still in the hands of the grand jury right now, right?
Right. And so I think if he's not indicted, the cop, I think they're nervous about what might happen because they're saying it's still a lot of tension.
Law enforcement has been preparing for the day that a verdict or not comes down.
And
why wouldn't Deputy Garcia go and show his support? I wonder.
Well, it's a long way to go. I'm a Giants fan. I don't want to show any support for St. Louis Cardinals. So, plus it's Taco Tuesday. $1 off tacos and free pitchers of beer down at Barney's Pub. So I'm not going to be able to make that. That's what Garcia would say. Heart Attack Mike would go.
Heart Attack Mike, his latest creation.
From Bear Aspirin. Mm-hmm. What's your line in that commercial? Did you do it for us?
Something like, I was riding my bike one day. I didn't think I'd have a heart attack, but I did. And thanks to Bear, I'm very happy now.
Wow. And what happened, Mike, when you had your heart attack on your bike? Did you crash?
No, I did not crash. I'm very good on my bike. I fell to the grass. No, I fell to the pavement, right by the curb.
Okay.
All right. And is that your wife that you're riding with?
That's my wife.
At the end of the commercial?
Yeah.
All right.
We're married.
Aw.
It's my TV wife.
Very convincing. It's your Aspen wife. So, all right, we don't know if Mittens is running, but George W. Bush says Jebby wants to be president.
I like Jeb.
Jebby? Yeah.
I like him.
Should have been Jebby.
I like him better than any other Bush that we've had.
Absolutely.
He said, Bush said, I, of course, was pushing him to run for president. He, of course, is saying, I haven't made up my mind. I don't think he has. But he said his brother Jebby wants to be president.
He may have to walk back that act of love comment about immigrants coming over.
Right.
If he wants to get through the primaries.
Right? Love. What?
Act of love.
Among brown people?
Brown people. Oh, go see the movie Book of Life. I saw the premiere this Sunday. Book of Life, the animated feature, is amazing.
Very cool.
Follow him at Carlos Alzraki
on Twitter.
Yeah, there you go. All right, love you, Carlos.
Love you.
Back to Vagina Island for you. See you tomorrow on the Stephanie Miller Show.